What's up everybody, blessed be, my name is Manon and you are watching Witch in the Working, where we will be discussing all things witchy in and around, throughout and about, above, below, and beyond. Please visit me on my other platforms as well, including Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, all linked down in the description below. The full script of this video and most of the others is available on my Patreon account for download if desired to build your own Witch in the Working Book of Shadows. Do you need help with a spell or fancy a tarot reading? Shoot on over to my store, Bewitching and Bizarre, linked down in the description below as well, for your personalized working and or reading. Welcome to today's enchanting exploration into the world of Hedge Witchery. Have you ever felt a deep connection to nature or wondered about the hidden realms beyond our everyday world? If so, you're in for a treat. In this video, we'll dive into the fascinating practices of hedge witches, uncovering how they blend ancient traditions with modern life to create a magical path that's both practical and profound. So get ready to embark on a journey where nature, spirituality, and magic intertwine. Let's step beyond the hedge and discover the mysteries that await. Roll intro. Welcome back everyone. So what exactly is a hedge witch? Imagine a witch who finds magic in everyday life, who feels a deep connection to nature, and who has the ability to journey into the spiritual realm. That's a hedge witch in a nutshell. The term hedge witch might sound mysterious, but it's actually quite simple. It comes from the olden days when villages were often surrounded by hedges or wild boundaries. These hedges marked the edges of the known world, beyond which lay the unknown and mystical. Hedge witches were those who metaphorically and sometimes literally crossed these boundaries, exploring both the physical and the spiritual worlds. To understand the roots of hedge witchcraft, we need to travel back to a time when villages were small and the natural world was a central part of everyday life. In those days, communities were often surrounded by hedges, thick, wild boundaries made of shrubs and trees. These hedges marked the edge of the known world, separating the safe, cultivated areas from the untamed wilderness beyond. It was in this setting that the concept of the hedge witch began to take shape. The term hedge witch comes from these village hedges, symbolizing the boundary between the familiar and the unknown. Hedge witches were those who ventured beyond these boundaries, both physically and spiritually, exploring the mysteries that lay on the other side. Hedge witches played an important role in their communities. They were the wise folk, the healers, and the spiritual guides. With a deep understanding of herbs and plants, they used their knowledge to create remedies and potions that could heal the sick and protect against illness. Their skills in herbalism were invaluable, especially in a time when formal medical knowledge was limited. But their expertise didn't stop at physical healing. Hedge witches were also known for their ability to communicate with the spirit world. They acted as intermediaries, connecting their communities with the unseen forces of nature and the spirits that resided in the other world. Through practices like hedge riding, where they would enter a meditative state to journey into the spiritual realm, they gained insights and guidance that could help their people. Now let's talk about the hedge itself. The hedge is more than just a physical barrier. It's a powerful symbol. In the context of hedge witchcraft, the hedge represents the boundary between the ordinary world and the magical spiritual realms. Crossing the hedge means stepping into the unknown, embracing the mysteries of the unseen, and discovering the magic that lies beyond the everyday. This idea of crossing boundaries is central to the practice of hedge witches. They are explorers of both the physical and spiritual landscapes, moving between worlds with ease. This ability to traverse the hedge symbolizes their role as mediators and guides, helping others to understand and connect with the magic of the natural world. As time went on, the practices of hedge witches evolved, but the core principles remained the same. In medieval and early modern Europe, hedge witches were often associated with cunning folk, wise men and women who offered magical and healing services to their communities. These cunning folk were respected for their knowledge and feared for their power, walking a fine line between acceptance and suspicion. Despite the changing times, the essence of hedge witchcraft endured. Today's hedge witches continue the tradition of connecting deeply with nature, using their knowledge of herbs and plants and journeying into the spiritual realm. They blend ancient wisdom with modern practices, creating a unique and powerful path that honors both history and innovation. From their roots in ancient village life to their role as healers and spiritual guides, hedge witches have always been explorers of the boundaries between the worlds. One of the most unique aspects of hedge witchcraft is its deep connection to nature. While many witchcraft paths honor nature, hedge witches take it to the next level. They don't just work with nature, they live and breathe it. Every plant, tree, and stone is a source of magic and wisdom. Hedge witches are often skilled herbalists using the power of plants for healing, protection, and spell work. They know the land intimately and see the divine in every part of the natural world. Again, the hedge in hedge witchcraft isn't just a physical boundary, it's a symbol of the boundary between the everyday world and the spiritual realm. Hedge witches are masters at crossing this boundary, a practice known as hedge writing. This involves entering a meditative or trance state to journey into the other world, where they can communicate with spirits, seek guidance, and gain deeper insights. This ability to move between worlds sets hedge witches apart, making them unique travelers of the unseen realms. Hedge witchcraft is wonderfully practical and down to earth. While some paths might require elaborate rituals and fancy tools, hedge witches keep things simple. They often use everyday items in their magic, things you might find around the house or in the garden. A kitchen table can become an altar, and a wooden spoon might serve as a magical wand, for instance. This simplicity doesn't make the magic any less powerful. In fact, it's a testament to the belief that magic is all around us, in the ordinary and in the mundane. Another unique aspect of hedge witchcraft is its emphasis on independence. Hedge witches typically practice alone, developing a highly personal and intuitive form of magic. This doesn't mean they're isolated. Many hedge witches are part of larger communities, sharing knowledge and experiences, but their practice is deeply personal, guided by their own intuition and connection to the natural and spiritual worlds. This independence allows hedge witches to tailor their crafts to their own needs and beliefs, making each hedge witch's practice unique. Hedge witchcraft is incredibly versatile. Hedge witches draw from a wide range of traditions and practices, blending elements from different paths to create their own unique form of magic. They might incorporate folk magic, shamanic practices, or even modern witchcraft techniques. This adaptability means that hedge witchcraft is always evolving, staying relevant and powerful no matter what the time or place. While all witchcraft paths involve some form of spiritual practice, hedge witchcraft places a special emphasis on deep, transformative spiritual journeys. Through hedge writing, hedge witches explore the other world, encountering spirits, ancestors, and deities. To me personally, I've worked slightly with shamanic practices. This is definitely where witchcraft and shamanism kind of intermingle, because for the most part, shamanic practices involve going into the other world and working with spirits and whatnot. So this is very much a mix of the two. It's like witchcraft and shamanism collided. These journeys are not just about gaining knowledge, they're about personal transformation and growth. By traveling beyond the hedge, hedge witches gain a profound understanding of themselves and the universe, bringing back wisdom and insight to enrich their everyday lives. From their deep connection to nature and the magic of the hedge to their simplicity, independence, and versatility, hedge witches embody a beautiful and powerful form of witchcraft. Hedge witchcraft is all about connecting deeply with nature and the spiritual realms. Let's take a look at some of the core practices that make this path so unique and magical. One of the most distinctive practices of hedge witches is, as I mentioned before, hedge writing. This isn't about writing a literal hedge, but rather traveling between the physical world and the spiritual realms. Hedge witches enter a meditative or trance state to journey into the other world, where they can communicate with spirits, seek guidance, and gain deeper insights. It's like having a magical adventure into another dimension. Herbalism is at the heart of hedge witchcraft. Hedge witches are skilled in the use of herbs and plants for healing, protection, and magical work. They might grow their own herbs or gather them from the wild, knowing exactly which plants to use for different purposes. Imagine having a personal apothecary of natural remedies and magical ingredients right in your own garden. Divination is another key practice for hedge witches. They use various methods to gain insights and guidance, such as tarot cards, runes, scrying, gazing into a reflective surface, or even reading the patterns in nature. Divination helps hedge witches connect with the wisdom of the other world and make informed decisions in their lives. Hedge witches use a variety of tools in their practice, each imbued with special significance and purpose. Let's take a look at some of the typical tools and how they might be used. A stang is a forked staff that represents the world tree, connecting the heavens, earth, and the underworld. It's a central tool in hedge witchcraft, often used in rituals and ceremonies to symbolize this connection. The stang can be made from wood found in nature, making it a personal and powerful tool. The cauldron is a classic witch's tool, and it is especially important in hedge witchcraft. It can be used for brewing potions, making herbal remedies, or even as a vessel for scrying. The cauldron represents transformation and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, making it a versatile and meaningful tool. Herbs are essential in hedge witchcraft. They might be used fresh or dried in teas, incense, oils, or charms. Each herb has its own magical properties, and hedge witches know how to harness these properties for healing, protection, and spell work. From lavender for calming to rosemary for protection, the possibilities are endless. A typical hedge witch's altar might include the stang, placed centrally to represent the world tree, a cauldron used for various magical workings, candles representing the elements of fire and providing light for rituals, herbs and crystals, each chosen for their specific properties and arranged in a way that feels right to that particular witch, and divination tools such as tarot cards, runes, or a scrying mirror ready for use. Hedge witches often decorate their altars with seasonal items, reflecting the changing cycles of nature. Fresh flowers in spring, harvested fruits and grains in autumn, and evergreen branches in winter help keep the altar connected to the natural world. From the magical journeys of hedge riding to the healing power of herbs and the wisdom of divination, hedge witchcraft is an enchanting path. With simple yet powerful tools like the stang and cauldron and a personal nature-connected altar, hedge witches create a magical practice that's deeply rooted in the everyday and the extraordinary. So let's talk more about this hedge. In hedge witchcraft, the hedge is a magical line that separates the known from the unknown, the seen from the unseen. Historically, hedges marked the edges of villages, acting as a natural barrier between the safety of the community and the wild, untamed wilderness. For hedge witches, this physical boundary became a metaphor for the divide between the mundane and the magical. Crossing the hedge means stepping into a different reality where magic, spirits, and deeper wisdom await. One of the coolest aspects of hedge witchcraft is the practice of hedge riding. This doesn't mean literally jumping over a hedge. Hedge riding is a form of spiritual journeying where hedge witches enter a meditative or trance state to cross the symbolic hedge and explore the spiritual realms. It's like having a passport to another world where they can seek guidance, communicate with spirits, and gain profound insights. Now let's talk about where hedge witches go when they cross the hedge, the other world. The other world is a term used to describe the spiritual realms that exist alongside our physical world. It's a place of magic, mystery, and deep spiritual truth. Different cultures have different names and ideas about the other world. In Celtic mythology, for example, it's a realm of gods, spirits, and ancestors. For hedge witches, the other world is a source of wisdom and power. It's where they connect with spirit guides, ancestors, and other spiritual beings. Through their journeys, hedge witches bring back knowledge and magic that they can use to enrich their lives and to help others. Exploring the other world isn't just about gaining knowledge, it's a deeply transformative experience. Hedge witches often use techniques like meditation, drumming, or guided visualization to enter a state where they can cross the hedge. In this altered state of consciousness, they can travel through the spiritual landscape, meeting guides, receiving messages, and experiencing visions. These journeys are deeply personal and unique to each hedge witch. Some might find themselves in enchanted forests, ancient temples, or floating among the stars. The experiences and insights gained from these journeys help hedge witches understand themselves and the universe in profound ways. One of the key aspects of hedge witchcraft is bringing back the wisdom and magic from the other world to the everyday world. Hedge witches use the knowledge that they gain to create healing remedies, perform divination, and guide others in their spiritual paths. It's a beautiful blend of the mystical and the practical, where insights from the spiritual realms can make a real difference in our daily lives. The hedge represents the boundary between the known and the unknown, the everyday and the magical. Crossing the hedge through spiritual journeying allows hedge witches to explore the other world, a realm of deep wisdom and powerful magic. By bringing back insights and experiences from these journeys that they take, hedge witches enrich their own lives and the lives of those around them. Nature is the lifeblood of hedge witchcraft. For hedge witches, the natural world is not just a backdrop to their magical practice, it's an integral part of their everyday lives. Imagine seeing the world as a living, breathing entity full of wisdom, power, and magic. That's the world of a hedge witch. Nature provides the resources hedge witches need for their craft. Herbs, stones, and natural elements are their tools, each with its own unique properties and energies. But more than that, nature is a source of inspiration and spiritual guidance. The cycles of the seasons, the phases of the moon, and the rhythms of the earth all play a vital role in their practice. Hedge witches are deeply attuned to the natural cycles of the earth and the cosmos. One of the most significant ways hedge witches connect with nature is by celebrating the Wheel of the Year. This is a cycle of 8 festivals known as Sabbats that mark the changing seasons. Each Sabbat celebrates a different aspect of the Earth's cycle, from the new growth of spring to the harvest of autumn and the stillness of winter. For example, Beltane, celebrated on May 1st, is a festival of fertility and growth. Hedge witches might celebrate by lighting bonfires, dancing around maypoles, and performing rituals to honor the Earth's abundance. Samhain, on October 31st, marks the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter. It's a time for remembering ancestors, divination, and introspection. By aligning their practices with the Wheel of the Year, hedge witches stay in harmony with the natural world, honoring its cycles and drawing strength from its rhythms. The moon also plays a crucial role in hedge witchcraft. The phase of the moon, new, waxing, full, and waning, each carry different energies that hedge witches harness in their magic. The new moon is a time for new beginnings and setting intentions, while the full moon is a time of peak energy and manifestation. Hedge witches might perform specific rituals or spells that correspond with each lunar phase. For example, during a waxing moon, they might focus on growth and attraction, while the waning moon is ideal for banishing and releasing. In addition to natural cycles, hedge witches also connect with the spirits of nature. These spirits can be found in trees, rivers, stones, and other natural features. Hedge witches often practice animism, the belief that all things, living and non-living, have a spirit. This means that every tree, rock, and stream is seen as a living entity with its own consciousness and energy. By treating these natural elements with respect and reverence, hedge witches build strong, harmonious relationships with the spirits of nature. Hedge witches communicate with nature spirits through meditation, rituals, and offerings. They might sit quietly in a forest, listening to the whispers of the trees, or leave small offerings of food, herbs, or crystals as a sign of respect and gratitude. This practice helps hedge witches attune to the subtle energies of the natural world and receive guidance and wisdom from the spirits. Ultimately, the goal of hedge witchcraft is to live in harmony with nature. This means being mindful of the impact we have on the earth and striving to live sustainably. Hedge witches often cultivate their own gardens, use eco-friendly practices, and advocate for the protection of natural spaces. By living in harmony with nature, hedge witches honor the interconnectedness of all life and the sacredness of the earth. This deep, respectful relationship with the natural world is at the heart of their magical practice. From celebrating the Wheel of the Year to honoring lunar phases and connecting with nature spirits, hedge witches embrace the magic and wisdom of the natural world. Their practice shows us the beauty and power of nature and the importance of living in harmony with the earth. Hedge witchery is a beautiful and profound practice that intertwines the magic of nature with the mysteries of the spiritual realms. Modern hedge witches carry on ancient traditions with a contemporary twist, celebrating the cycles of the earth and the moon, crafting herbal remedies, and embarking on spiritual journeys. By finding enchantment in everyday life and staying attuned to the natural world, hedge witches remind us that magic is all around us, waiting to be discovered. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Witch in the Working. What do you think about the hedge witch? Are you a hedge witch or know someone who is? Let us all know down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to ring that little bell to be reminded of wonderful and exciting future episodes to come. I love you guys and gals. Blessed be.